Okay, we're back live in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm John Furrier, the founder of SiliconANGLE.com. This is theCUBE, SiliconANGLE.tv's production, exclusive coverage of HP Discover 2012, and I'm with my co-host.
I'm Dave Vellante of wikibon.org, and we're here with the Energizer Bunny, at Energizer Bunny. Nina, welcome to theCUBE.
Thank you.
And so we're going to talk about Connect. A lot of people might not be familiar with what Connect is. Why don't you start us off and just describe the organization?
Sure, happy to. Connect is HP's largest enterprise user community. We have about 55,000 members around the world. We're kind of a grassroots organization, so we're built on a network of chapters, 44 chapters worldwide, special interest groups, and our mission is to help HP business technology customers get the most out of their investment through advocacy, networking, and education.
So, how long have you been at this? In your current role, you're running the organization, is that right?
No,
you're facilitating?
I'm the Chief Marketing Officer. I was actually formerly the President as a volunteer.
Okay.
I've been involved in the community now for almost 22 years as a member. And you just build your professional network around the folks that you meet at these events and throughout the community, and you just stay involved and engaged. So I was at a time of transition a couple years ago. I'd left the company I was working for, and I came to work for Connect.
The HP user groups have always been, and going back to the history of the company, technical as well, and you also met with Meg Whitman.
Yes.
Tell us about that. I mean, because the customer perspective of HP is really important because they have such a big customer base and diverse set of products. So talk about your meeting with Meg Whitman, and then talk about the view the customer has of HP right now.
You bet. So first of all, she's delightful. And she was very interested in what we were doing in terms of the community, and also, I have to say, pleasantly surprised. I think there was a lot about the community that she wasn't aware of, and it was my pleasure to be able to share that with her. But what has resonated most with our community and what I shared with her was the fact that her message when we were in Vienna and her message at the keynote here was the same. And that consistency is comforting to the HP customer, knowing that HP's staying the course and they don't have to kind of scramble again to make decisions about strategy and technology, that they know that HP is now going back to kind of a consistent message again.
And not only was it the same, don't you think, Nina, that it resonated, at least I think that, like your opinion on this, to me it resonated better with the mainstream HP customer. It wasn't pie in the sky,
Right.
It was very practical. She was forthright about the turmoil at the top.
Right.
What's your take on that?
Absolutely, you know what? That's refreshing to see that kind of candor and honesty from your chief executive, right? I think it's so important. Everybody knows, all companies have warts, right? So, but she's willing to accept them, to face them and to talk about them, and I think that takes it off the table, and that allows them to focus and the customers to focus on that core message.
And she's conservative too. I mean, one of the things we pointed out yesterday in theCUBE was that she's really not trying to overstretch her expectations to the marketplace, and
Right.
and she's been taking a beating in the press.
Yeah.
But the press have been giving her a pass. This past week, I noticed that all the articles from the mainstream media, like the Times and the Journal, Bloomberg, they're talking about HP's problem. Obviously, the Oracle lawsuit's hanging over their head, but
Sure.
they're giving her a pass and letting her get soaked into HP. But she's setting the plan 4 to 5 years, a turnaround.
Right.
She's being honest, but
Right.
she's not being, the 1 year turnaround, setting the expectations. She's conservative, and I
Right.
think that resonates well with the employees that I've talked to. Does that sit well with the customers, or they want a faster, more accelerated turnaround?
So don't you think that when you think about what her message is and how comforting that is to the employee, it affects the customer. When you're dealing with people within HP, or salespeople, if they're comforted and happy and excited about the direction, that bleeds right into the customer, and it makes them comforted and happy and willing to, they want to stay close and connected. So I think it's a wonderful thing. I think it's brilliant that she is doing that from the inside out.
Why do you think the customers are excited about the direction of HP? What specifically, in your view, is resonating with them, and what excites them?
So first of all, one of the things, the data points that I shared with her, I said that you have customers, whether you realize this or not, that are as loyal to HP products and HP as Apple customers are to Apple products. And it's so true. There's niche technologies within HP that have communities built around them, like storage, like Nonstop, like OpenVMS. I mean, there's so many product lines that have these communities built around. They're so passionate about the technologies. I mean, to the point where it's a little unnerving that they're that passionate about a technology, and I don't think that HP is fully aware that they have that, right? So, again, she was, I think, very excited to hear that.
So one of the things that we've said on theCUBE a number of times is we feel like HP's got to get back to its roots, and its roots are invent.
Yeah.
Do you think HP's on the path to do that?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. When you look at some of the newer technologies like Gen 8 and the 900 patents that were involved in the making of Gen 8, and it's a really cool technology, right? It's changing the way servers are and how they're being proactive in terms of support. That was all done in HP Labs, right? That wasn't part of an acquisition. So you have, I think HP, again, going back to its DNA of innovation, more innovation, less on the acquisition side. I think that, again, that's refreshing and comforting to the customer.
Do you feel like, so you said that's refreshing to the customer, so you feel like customers are looking for that innovation. Do you feel as though sometimes a company that gets too acquisitive, that writes more checks than code, as the saying goes, scares away customers a little bit, or they want to see a balance? What do you think the current state of the customer mindset is today?
I think it depends on what the acquisition is, and it also goes down to blending cultures, right? When you do an acquisition, if you're bringing in a lot of people from that company and you're blending them with your organization, it has to fit culturally, or it's going to be difficult to assimilate and difficult to get the message out to the customer, right? To show that unity. I think that seeing more coming from HP Labs and internal development, I think a blend, but I think you have to lean more, weight it more on the side of innovation internally and less on the side of acquisition. Although I think autonomy was a brilliant acquisition.
Well, why do you think that? So I mean, a lot of customers, a lot of people we talked to were scratching their heads initially. This week, I actually say, John and I were pretty impressed to see the number of, we think, genuine initiatives around integration to autonomy. So that's a positive sign, but why do you think the autonomy acquisition was a great one?
Well, because I think we're on the edge, on the fringe of the big data explosion and understanding how to manipulate and understand and measure unstructured data. And I think the autonomy acquisition will help HP be a leader in that realm. Absolutely. I think the challenge right now is to educate the customer on why that's important and how to do it. You know, they gave the example yesterday of how Macy's is doing it. I think more and more it's vital. But the technologists, not so much, you've got your CIO probably gets that bigger picture, but getting the technologists, the people, the practitioners that actually will use this technology to understand the significance is going to be key.
One of the things we've been hearing about the autonomy acquisition is that HP's been a supplier to a lot of customers and enterprises at a tactical level and also somewhat strategic from an HP. You know, they sold boxes and they sell solutions and services. For the most part, that's CIO, IT-like sale. Autonomy is a little bit different sales approach. It's more business reference architectures. What's your take on how the community's reacting to that? They see that as a bridge to cross over, or is it conflict, or what's the?
I think the former. I think a bridge to crossover is how they view it. Again, I think it was a good strategic acquisition, and I think that the customers, I think they need to do continued education. I don't think really all the customers really know all that the autonomy product line has to offer.
Yeah, there's a lot there, I would agree.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm still learning.
Well, we're seeing some good signs. I mean, I got to say, this show this year, there's certainly a spring in the step of the employees and partners this year. Last year was kind of like a downer. You know, Leo was there, and obviously he had some struggles, as was well documented, but it was just different last year. It was kind of a weird vibe. This year, I don't sense that. I sense almost relief, like, okay, yeah, we'll get back down to business. It's almost that HP had the troubles at the top, not so much in the body of the company.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree that there's a good vibe here, totally agree.
Can you talk about the transformation that customers are going through? How would you describe that transformation, whether it's cloud or IT as a service? How do you summarize what's going on in the customer base?
Well, I think right now, and especially this year, we're kind of at a crossroads. Last year, people, and the year before, people were talking about cloud. You had some companies engaging in it. I think you had some people that really didn't know how to define it. But this year, I think everyone here knows that cloud is here to stay. and they know that they have to get their toe in the water. So they're here to share with others who have already engaged in the cloud, right? This is a perfect opportunity for them to do it, not only to hear from HP, but other customers who've implemented a cloud. And at our organization, we just launched a cloud special interest group so we can help people navigate those waters.
So we'll talk about that special interest group concept. What is that all about and how does it work?
Sure, so along with our advocacy initiative, we have several special interest groups based on technology. So now that we have a cloud special interest group, we have a SIG leader as well as an HP liaison that helps us funnel feedback from the members of our special interest group back to HP. And then they in turn bring that feedback back to the SIG members and help them understand how to use that technology better.
So you said you had 30 some odd chapters, is that right?
44 chapters
44 chapters?
globally.
Globally?
Yeah.
Okay, so how's that work? You've got chapters in the NFL cities in the United States, in the major regions in Europe, and AP
Sure.
Is that right?
So how it works is, we have, again, those passionate customers in areas all over. That could be a city, it could be a region, it could be a country, and they come together, they bring other customers together. HP helps bring the customers together, and they get together and they have a meeting, they hear content from a speaker, but the most important thing that they do is build their professional networks.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about peer-to-peer.
Absolutely.
Right, so do they interact with other practitioner peer groups like this Society of Information Management, or is it pretty much insulated inside of HP's customer group?
Sure, well I'm sure that they do. They have other affiliations with other communities because I've been talking to some people about that. But what they value most out of us is that we are an HP business technology user community. So we, a lot of these people have nowhere else to go, right? Especially in those niche platforms, those niche technologies that, it's unlike enterprise Unix, you can join a Unix community, right? A general Unix, but if you're using something like a VMS or a nonstop, something that only HP offers, you need a place to go, you need a home.
Nina, obviously we're big in social media, we have Twitter, we follow Twitter, and then social media monitoring, the rage is conversations, right? So, communities, when you have physical communities like that, there's a lot of face-to-face and events that you guys run. People want to know what the top conversations are. So in your community, what are some of the top conversations that are going on right now around HP and some of the challenges in the marketplace, opportunities as well?
You bet. So, obviously there's concern still over the Oracle issue and where that's going to play out, right? People are wanting to wait till that decision. We're closely monitoring that for our members because they need to know, what strategic direction they need to take depending on what the outcome is of how, what the courts decide. So that's one big buzz factor. The other is cloud. The different concerns, security. I think that HP also has a good story to tell there. They kind of overcome, some of the challenges that are concerns that people had about engaging in the cloud concerning security, but also the resources. They don't know what skill set is required to manage a cloud. So, we're helping them navigate that. So that the biggest buzz I see is around that, and that's why we launched the Cloud SIG to help.
How about big data? What's the conversation like with big data? Is it you're like rah, we feel good about it, but yet don't have our hands around that yet?
They're still looking at it as marketecture, right? I mean, you hear big data and you're okay,
But is it a feeling of hype or is it a genuine mandate?
I would say a little more hype this year. I bet you next year they'll be in where they were with the cloud. Like this year they know they have to engage with the cloud somehow, some way, right? Next year you're going to hear, oh my gosh, we better figure out how to manage all this unstructured data, this big data thing, it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere.
What are some of the things that you're hearing in your community and then externally around the business transformation and consumerization of IT? It's an area we cover. I'd love to get your perspective on those two kind of big picture items.
Sure, it's funny, we don't really talk too much about the big picture in our community because 80% of the people that are members of our community are more the practitioners. So I always say the conversations we have with them are giving them more verbs and adjectives. That's what they respond to, how to do their job. So we don't really engage that much in that. I'm not really hearing a whole lot of buzz.
How about virtualization?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, quite a bit. Well, and that's going kind of hand in hand with cloud now too, right? So people are going from virtualization to cloud. But yeah, so we have a very active virtualization SIG, and we, they meet every month, and they again talk about, what the competitive landscape is as well in that area.
You mentioned Oracle, obviously, with the lawsuit is on top of everyone's mind, just hanging over everyone, but not specifically Oracle lawsuit, but internal Oracle represents that kind of strategy of purpose-built, fully own the customer. HP's always been flexible around choice. What's the current state of the practitioners around kind of the plug and play, the flexible multi-vendor scene there?
Absolutely, they want that flexibility, right? I mean, they don't want to put, they want to have a good solid relationship with their IT partner. Matter of fact, we're doing, for the first time in September, we're doing an event with an HP customer who's a member of the community, Pella Windows and Doors, on September 12th and 13th. And it's called the IT Strategic Alliance Summit. And the reason why we're doing this is because obviously we faced the worst recession, the worst housing market in the history in our lifetimes for sure. Pella Windows and Doors, specifically dependent on that market, has maintained a profitable status as a result of two things. One, how they manage their data, and number two, the relationships that they had with their IT partners. They have maintained their profitability, which is incredible. So I had the wonderful opportunity to go visit them. They use all kinds of HP technologies, and so we're doing this event to bring people there so Pella can share their story.
What's the sentiment in the customer base around the economy? I mean, there's a lot of turmoil in Europe, obviously. Bernanke's on the Hill today and getting grilled, and there seems to be another stasis potentially coming to budget. Is the sentiment, in your view, generally positive, generally negative, generally neutral? How would you describe it?
This year, over the past year, it's gone from really concerned to neutral, which is a good thing in my view, right?
Better than bad.
Yeah, better than bad, yeah. but not on the other side of the scale. One of the benefits again of being in the community is if you do find yourself in that position where you're looking, what a great place to be, right? Because you've got that network already built so that we can help you find your next position.
Awesome, Nina, well thanks very much for coming in. I don't know why they call you the Energizer Bunny. I guess really terrific energy, really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Congratulations on all your success.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well we'll be right back here at HP Discover right after this short break.
As the world's largest technology company, HP is the only brand with the breadth of portfolio and the ability to bring it all together. HP has all the necessary intellectual property in-house to optimize the solution to our customers' needs. Storage, servers, networking, management software and services. Our converged infrastructure strategy simplifies, integrates, and automates, delivering the data center of the future today. Customers can now run their businesses easier, get their products out more efficiently, and bring in revenues faster. And HP's networking is a key underpinning of our converged infrastructure strategy. Networking architecture that is simpler and protects businesses from day one. Industry-leading virtualized fabric that delivers application services in minutes, as opposed to days. And an open architecture, delivering breakthrough economics with up to 66% lower total cost of ownership. Customers are really digging this. Derek Chen from DreamWorks Animation says, HP networking solutions have proven to be the best option for our increasing scale and global demands. Andre Balju of Marriott International adds, HP has extensive networking experience and offered the most value for our investment. And Christian Anschutz from Underwriters Laboratories agrees. HP provided a roadmap to transform our network infrastructure while also supporting our plans to move towards a converged infrastructure. A win for our customers, a win for HP. Organic growth of 50%, total growth 227%. With the integration of 3Com, over 300 of our top 1,000 global accounts have already signed up for our proof of concept program. And let's not forget one of HP's jewels, Our HP Tipping Point security program, which grew 4 times the market and is gaining significant share. We've got the means. We've got the commitment. We've got the customers. Network your world at hp.com/networking.